What is going on, guys? I'm sure you've probably already seen it. It is the new Mob of the Dead map, and we've got behind the scenes footage right here. I'm going to be running through a quick brief analysis of everything that I've seen in this short gameplay trailer, so I hope you guys enjoy it. Okay, so we already know that it is based at Alcatraz. In case you don't know, guys, Alcatraz is based on an island, and it is designed to hold prisoners who continuously cause trouble in other federal prisons. This means that it only housed the people who weren't going to get better and who weren't going to do good in the world. So basically, they're trapped on this island with other really bad people. I'm talking some of the worst hoodlums in America.
It was a challenge to try and capture something as iconic as Alcatraz.
You know about this. This is arguably the most famous prison in the world, and now you're in it.
Just the space, the physicality of it, because it's quite claustrophobic. When modern day prisons are designed, they really consider not intimidating people or making the spaces, as least stressful as possible. Well, Alcatraz didn't suffer from those restrictions. They did the research, they went out, studied Alcatraz, not just from books or internet. They were actually there to feel the environment, so it really sets a mood that gets you a little spooked.
Well, we kind of started with the base layout of Alcatraz. The entire island we ended up roughing out in kind of a white box form, and then figuring out what play spaces we wanted to use out of that, what would be the most interesting areas to play in, and the connections between spaces, and spaces that the public doesn't necessarily get to go into.
Okay, so already we know from this map is going to be absolutely huge. Maybe not as big as Transit, but it's going to be pretty big, and that's what it's going to look like. I don't know if you're going to be able to access every single area there or what, but it might be like Transit in the fact that you can access different areas and stuff like that, or you can just play it as one big map. So we'll never know until it gets released.
We really did a lot of pushing to really enhance that psychological horror aspect that we're really looking for. And this is a really good opportunity to really tell something special.
Like I got stuck right through the gates to hell.
Okay, so did we just see that nuke fly from all the way over there to us and we collected it? Is it a Tomahawk or what? I have no idea what that could be. Is it kind of like... Is it a secondary grenade which you throw like a boomerang and it brings the power-ups to you? Say like if there's a max ammo over in the distance and you can't get to it because of the amount of zombies, you have a teammate that fires a boomerang over there and it brings the max ammo to you. If that's the case, then well done, Treyarch. That is amazing because it will help you out in so many different situations that it will just make the game a lot easier. Also mentioning the thing in the top left-hand corner of the screen, is that a key? Well, obviously it's a key, but what is it for? Is it for a vault? Is it for a safe? What? That means that there are collectibles in this game that you've got to collect to progress the story, which is to build this plane and get off the island.
This time around, I feel like it's been identified that there are these side missions that you're going to go out and try to accomplish. Al and the rest of the groups put together this escape plan, but the point is to get the parts and assemble this plane so they can get off the island.
Okay, so we have side missions now. It's kind of like the Easter egg, but is Treyarch trying to make us do these side missions? I mean, we've got the escape plan right there. Step 1 is to find the warden's key. Now, was the key that we saw in the previous picture? It might be. That's step 1. We found the warden's key already. Also mentioning afterlife equals power. Okay, so that symbol right there where it says this symbol, I can't get it out of my head. I think that is afterlife. Okay, I'm going to show another picture right now, and it's going to show in the bottom corner of the screen, it says a cat has 9 lives. Now, what I think that means is that you no longer have quick revive, because I've watched this trailer throughout and there has not been any mention about quick revive or anything, so that is really interesting. What are those power boxes for? Is that one way to activate the afterlife, or what? It could be that you die 9 times, and the last time that you die, that's it. It's game over. It might just kick you from the game. It might just be game over completely until a next round or something. Maybe that's what those symbols meant in the previous pictures. Maybe that is how many times you can go into the afterlife, and it's not reliant on a max ammo or anything, so it won't regenerate until maybe a new round or something like that.
We did something new for the first time. We have actually contextual music that goes off. So that's a first for zombies. And it's all based around this horror thriller aspect.
Every location will have a specific stinger that you hear when you find it, when you discover it, when you start unraveling the story. We start building on the music that you're hearing, and it's really enhancing that experience and going along with it in parallel.
Okay, so now this is very interesting as you go to a different area and a different sort of music plays. It could mean that when you're in a different area, it just gets louder and louder and louder, or you're about to find a hint and it actually gives you the music as a hint to tell you, holy shit, you're near it, and it's right in front of your face. Maybe it'll help us in that sort of way to find the Easter egg out.
Because we wanted to embrace this kind of horror thriller element, we wanted character actors, guys who could really embody someone and then convey emotion. So that's why we went for guys like Ray Liotta, getting in that kind of guy. You know, we wanted a frantic nature, so he plays a character called Billy Handsome, who's this kind of psychopath who would be employed by the mob to kill people in interesting ways. Chaz Palminteri, he plays a guy called Sal DeLuca, an old mob boss. Michael Madsen playing Finn O'Leary. He's kind of worked himself from the floor, you know, from the streets. He's got his hands dirty in the blood and the guts a couple of times. And then we had Joe Pantoliano, and he plays Arthur Arlington, who's nicknamed the Weasel.
Those guys, they bring a quality and a subtlety and timing that you can't really identify or try to recreate.
Bring it on, dirtbags!
You start off in the afterlife mode, and that's just going to be, you know, what's going on. You're going to try to solve the mystery from the second you start.
Afterlife, to me, brings a new element, like a new puzzle element. It forces me to think a little bit more or look for the clues or kind of think of zombies on a slightly deeper level. You see clues throughout the map that tell you, ooh, perhaps if I'm in the afterlife, I can interact with this object, or there's some puzzle going on here that I need to be in the afterlife.
Back east, I whacked a dirty dentist with one of these. Took forever, too.
Okay, so this is pretty interesting. If you've noticed on that wall that you can see in the right-hand side of the screen, it says powers found on the lower ground. That could mean either that the power switch to switch on the power has come back and you need to do that while you're in the afterlife form, or it means that there's all those power things, power boxes, that you have to hit when you're in the afterlife form so that it powers everything up. For example, those blades in the background might only be powered by going into the afterlife and firing the electricity at those power boxes.
Alcatraz has a Civil War kind of fort background before it turned into a penitentiary. And so we had this kind of backstory, the idea that the warden would have collected Civil War weaponry. And one of them is a blundergat. It's a fictional weapon, but the idea of the combination between a blunderbuss and a Gatling gun. And possibly, there might be a way of upgrading it to a more fantastical weapon that the players may find.
You all gotta go sometime. You just...
We have a new wonder weapon, guys! A brand new wonder weapon. It's part blunderbuss, part Gatling gun. It looks sick. But personally, I think it's going to be an ammo waster. I mean, if you saw in the footage that I just showed, it just sprayed the 3 bullets that it actually had at the enemies, and I don't think it's going to be that great of a weapon. From the footage taken, it looked as though it had some sort of pheromone in it which attracted the zombies, so it's kind of like how the monkey bombs work in that respect, where it just gathers all the zombies up and then you can kill them that way. Well, it explodes. So, in my opinion, it could be used as a getaway strategy where you fire the weapon at a wall or a group of zombies, they all gather, and you can just leg it out of there.
What now?
There's one main zombie, one big zombie that's going to come through and wreak havoc on your life. He'll lock down the perk machine, he'll close down the box, so you have to pay to get that open again. So you don't want him to interfere with your process.
Now's a good time to pick a fight.
It's a fun challenge. It keeps things moving forward.
It looks like this guy is going to be a pain in the ass. I'm not talking George Romero pain in the ass. I'm talking about this massive tank running at you, as you can see there. And what makes it worse is it looks as though he stops the perks. Maybe he freezes them. What's that in his hand? It looks like he could have frozen them and then sets them on fire for no reason whatsoever. Maybe you go in the afterlife and that's how you cure whatever he's done to that perk. Also, one thing to point out, the guy said that it keeps things moving forward. Now, I don't think this is a boss round. I don't think it's something like the dog rounds that we've seen in previous games or the crawler rounds that we've seen in Die Rise, for example. I believe that this guy comes, say like if you're going to do the Easter egg, you leave a crawler. That's the main objective to do. Everybody leaves a crawler and then you can go about it while someone guards the crawler. Well, in this case, I think the guy can spawn whenever. So in the middle of a round, he could spawn. So it's kind of like the spacesuit zombie in that respect, where he just spawns behind you and he just tries to kill the crap out of you.
In terms of perks, we have a new perk called Electric Cherry. When you reload, it gives a shock around, which scales over time.
I was asking for it, please, ball.
We have a brand new perk, guys. It looks as though it's going to be one of those perks that you don't really use, but it could be cool to have. Maybe it's one of the perks that you've got to use to power up the perk machines. Maybe, maybe not. But in the top left-hand corner of the screen, you can see that that is in fact a key, and it is probably the Warden's key. Also, I'd like to point out that in the right-hand side of the screen, it says docks that points in that general direction, which means that this map has got docks, so it could be a really big map.
There's so much to experience in this map. Every time I play it, there's a new tactic to take, a new experience, a new objective to go for. But there's also this layer of things that we aren't exactly exposing to the players right off the bat and will need to be discovered.
Don't let me go. Is it the calling we hear?
Okay, you guys thought I'd forgotten about it, but what the hell is that? My first initial impression was that it was Fluffy. You know, Samantha's dog from right at the very beginning? Man, it could involve the Easter egg. I have no idea. It could be one of those things where, like, it gives you more power to use the afterlife, maybe, after it kills so many zombies. Maybe you got to lead the zombies into its mouth and kill it. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe it's an actual dog in the afterlife form. There's another quick thing I want to point out, guys. Could this be the start room? It seems like you start in the afterlife and whoever that is in the corner, that's your character that you're supposed to be. So it's randomized, just like it is normally, where you could be Nikolai, Dempsey, Takio, and Richtofen.
We've got the undead in there, we've got these historical elements, and these fantastic actors all seem to be with peace with each other in this kind of same world. So it's magical, and our team is incredibly excited by it.
Is it the calling we hear?
I can't wait until this map, guys. I'm going to be live streaming it, and I hope to see you there. I shall see you when it's out. Peace out.